A vocabulary web is a tool that we will be using often throughout the year because it helps us gain a deeper understanding, an in-depth understanding of words. Some of these words may be challenging words we come across, or often just interesting words that we come across in the various texts that we read. So this video will break apart all the components of the web and show you how to complete each part so that you too will be able to complete a vocabulary web of your own. Now, first, if we take a look at the vocabulary web as a whole, you'll notice that, of course, there's lots of boxes. It looks like a lot, but what I want you to notice is that the word that you're completing the web for goes in the middle. And there's basically 4 parts to the web. You'll notice these 4 spokes coming off of the center. So if we work from beginning, from this first spoke, there's a place where you write down where you found the word. Then we're going to write down the definition and synonyms and antonyms. Then we'll break the word apart. We'll analyze the word. And then with this understanding, we'll use it in our own example. So if we break it into the various components, it makes it a little bit easier, less overwhelming. So to begin, in the classroom we read one of Aesop's fables, The Wolf and the Lion. And within that text there was an interesting word that we noticed, and the word was shepherd. It was found within a sentence, and the sentence was, "Did you buy it?" Or, "Did the shepherd make you a gift of it?" And there I see the word shepherd. Now, page number in this case I don't need to fill in because this was a 1-page fable. If this were a chapter book or something, I would write down the page number where I actually found that sentence. So the first step, or the first part of the web, is to write down where you found the word. Write down the text that you found it in. And start thinking, before we move on, start thinking about the context of this word and what we think it means based on it. So in this sentence, when I look at it, shepherd, when it says the shepherd make you a gift of it, that makes me think that it's probably a person because people give gifts. And then the story as a whole was about a wolf and a lion, and they're arguing over a lamb because the wolf had taken a lamb. With that in mind, then, we move on to the next part of the web. And with that background, I go to our dictionaries, our Blue Webster's, Merriam-Webster's dictionaries, and I look up the word shepherd and we know that dictionaries often give multiple definitions of words. So I want to pick the definition that fits the context of the word and how it's used. And in our dictionary, we saw that shepherd, the definition it gave was one who tends sheep. In our dictionaries, we know that our dictionaries are also thesauruses, and sometimes synonyms or antonyms will be given with the definition of the word. In this case, that wasn't true, so we went to the online version of the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and that one did give us a few synonyms for shepherd, those being a guard, a guide, or a leader. So I'd fill in some synonyms that I find in the dictionary, or just synonyms I can think of on my own as well in the synonyms box. Now, antonyms. The dictionary didn't give me any, or the thesaurus didn't give me any antonyms, and it's hard to think of any. So there may be times like this where we actually would leave a box of the web blank. As long as we've thought about it and tried, if there isn't an answer, there isn't an answer. Now, moving along to the analysis part of the word. This is where I'm going to break the word apart. First, thinking about the part of speech, and that is given in the dictionary. In this case, shepherd was entered twice. It was entered as a noun and as a verb. We chose the noun definition because we know nouns are people, places, or things. Stems. Stems are smaller words or word parts that we find within the bigger word. So if I just write that word shepherd again over here, and we take a closer look at it, we notice that, hey, we see the word herd in here. Herd, when I think of a herd, I think of a group of animals. Or if I think of it as a verb, it might be where I gather a group of animals. Sometimes when I break the word into its parts and look those parts up into the dictionary, I'll see the definitions, and that's where I get the meaning of. Other times I can just think of it on my own. And then shep, I didn't find that part in the dictionary. However, when I just look at it, it kind of reminds me of the larger word, sheep. Origin. Origin is where the word comes from. Our language, our English language, often words come from other languages or are adapted from other languages like Latin or Greek or French. Other times, words have been a part of our own English language for a very long time. And that was true in this case. I didn't find the origin in my Blue Webster's dictionary that we have in the classroom, but on the online version, it very often gives the origin. And in this case, the origin of shepherd is Old English, which means it's been in our language, our English language, for a very long time. In fact, it even mentioned coming from the 12th century. And finally, word families. Word families are other words that use these same stems. And often that means, prefixes and suffixes have been added onto the word. Sometimes you'll see some other words with these stems very close in the dictionary. And in fact, that's what happened here. Below the word shepherd, we saw the word shepherdess, which means a female shepherd. So these are other forms of the word. Finally, after we've broken the word apart and really gained an understanding, now we can take the word and use it in our own sentence. So let's see. I think I'll say, with my new understanding, the shepherd searched frantically for his lost sheep. And so there we have it, a completed web. And again, these webs will help us gain a greater understanding and a more in-depth understanding of words.